Hi guys, thanks for joining us again. Today in our Meet Another Therapist series, we're talking to Tracey Thrower, who has a clinic in the far north Queensland city of Mount Isa. Tracey works a little differently to a few of the other people that I have spoken to recently. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy this chat with Tracey. Tracey Thrower, thank you very much for joining me this morning for a chat.
Thank you for having me, Laurie.
I'm glad you agreed to sit down with me.
Yes.
I've been really interested to hear how people from around the country and around the world have been coping with COVID closed down and maybe isolation. Some people are in more isolation than others. But you are based in Mount Isa.
Yes.
Which is how far from the coast?
We're about 900 kilometres from Townsville.
Right. So
yeah.
Do you classify yourselves as regional or remote?
I'd probably say regional, to be quite honest, because Mount Isa is quite a big town, or we call it a city. Right. It is actually classed as a city. So we are a pretty much a close-knit community as well. So it feels like remote sometimes, but it's just for the fact that we are pretty much out. We're isolated. Our next closest town is Cloncurry. It's an hour and a half away. So yeah, and it's a great little mining community. So.
A long-time friend of mine spent a number of years in Mount Isa at the hospital up there.
Yes.
Psych nurse, and I have a client who also spent a number of years up there working on the local radio station. Local ABC station up there. Yeah. And
yes.
She tells some interesting stories of life in the Isa, as she calls it.
That's exactly right. We get characters up here, I tell you. It's never a dull moment in the Isa.
Well, that's good. Life is not boring.
Yeah,
then.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, just to get a little bit more background about you, how long have you been in the soft tissue industry for?
So, I was actually introduced to massage back in 1994, so it's coming on to 26 years in November.
Right.
Yeah. So first trained in Swedish massage, and then went on to a technique called the Emmitt Technique, and then followed through to my sports training and anatomy and physiology.
So was that through private RTO or was that through TAFE?
Private RTO, yeah.
In Mount Isa itself?
No, I had to do most of it correspondently,
right.
Unfortunately. And at times it was quite difficult. But I had a great support system from a mentor and also a psych nurse, funny enough, who had experience of 34 years of nursing. So without those two gentlemen, it would have been, and of course the support from my family, would have been very difficult for me to complete and be where I am today.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
You would have found particularly the practical components of the subjects a bit difficult. How did you cope with that?
Yeah, it was very difficult at times, and just getting the support from the facilitator of the course as well. It was at times I felt like I was left alone. I didn't get a lot of support. It sort of almost felt like they'd taken your money and they've just left you. That was the feeling that I got most of the time. But like I say, it was superb that I had the support from these two gentlemen, that they were just wonderful and gave me so much time to ask questions and and do some study with them. And, you know, as they said, no question is silly, you know, to get that, ability to be confident in asking questions, and no matter what sort of question it was, just to know that, you know, you're thinking, well, is that a silly question? Or, but then understanding it is the key, you know, in your own way. And
people learn differently. You know,
oh, definitely.
Some people are poetry, you can tell them once and they've got it. Other people have to
exactly right.
Visualize or watch how it's done. Other people.
That's right. Yeah, and I am very much a visual learner.
Right.
I like to see. That's why I struggle a fair bit reading the books. You know, and that's why I found it great with my mentors to be able to them showing me the particular muscle group or showing me different ways to apply things. It was, you know, it was key, really. Yeah.
Having a good mentor is something that is, you can't put a price on it.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And this gentleman in particular, he's been in the industry for close to 40 years. So he's, you know, he's been there and he's been around and he's seen a lot of things, and to have his knowledge and his guidance was, it was amazing, to be quite honest.
Do you still have access to him?
Yeah, I do.
Awesome.
He's actually, his name is Ross Emmitt, and he's a very close friend of my family and obviously myself. And he's been there all through my career, and I can't thank him enough, to be quite honest. Yeah.
I was reading a little bit about Ross the other day. I'm going to come back to that a little later on. You'll be able to give me much more of an insight by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
So, what made you decide to study soft tissue therapy?
It was actually Ross himself that actually, because I'm very close friends with his daughter, and he was holding he's also an instructor, you know, and teacher of therapy. So he asked if I wanted to join in, and so I did, and absolutely fell in love with the technique and the ability to help people. You know, I just found it a bit, literally, don't want to sound like pun the term, but it's like fitted like a glove, really, because I could feel that I felt more at home treating people. You know, more. It was like it was my profession it's like a light bulb moment. You know, this is what I need to do with my life.
And obviously, to last working with people for, say, nearly 26 years or just over 26 years, if you don't have that passion and that drive, you don't last that long.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you know, I see a lot of therapists come through, and it's horrible to see, but you know, and I don't, you know, diss therapists at all, but I see a lot of them doing it just for the money aspect. To me, you know, I like to see the person walk out of my clinic feeling better about themselves, but feeling less pain, less discomfort, you know, and not about the money aspect. I've treated a lot of people and I didn't want any money for it, because I know they're down on their luck. You know, they're doing it tough, especially with, you know, the things that have happened in Australia, you know, for this past year or so. You know, up here we're dealing with a lot of drought still. You know, we get the aspects of, you know, I see a lot of station people. You know, there's a lot of station people. I don't want their money. You know, I want them to feel good. You know, their mental health means more to me than money.
And I guess, given the drought that you guys are only just starting to come out of, because it's certainly not over, is it?
Oh, definitely not by any, you know, stretch of the imagination. Like, my family have a station down near Winton, and it's an ongoing battle. You know, it's just dry. There's no grass. So you've got the aspect of having to try and feed the cattle as well as, and all the livestock, sheep, cattle, horses. So it's, and then they had to deal with the flood that happened last year. It's unprecedented. Like you just can't fathom. You go from feast to famine in a matter of a couple of days, where they lost 95% of their stock. So you sort of, it's, yeah.
On top of all that, you've got the mental health issues, no doubt.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
Doesn't get discussed.
No, that's right.
So when you finished your training, did you feel as though you were confident to work on the general public?
I mean, when I first started, it was daunting, to be quite honest, because you just, you're interacting with a lot of different people, and it is, when you start to sort of get your rhythm, I suppose, like the way that you want to have your clinic, the way you want to talk to people, the way I think it just gels in a sense. After a while, you start to get used to treating the people and how you present yourself, and so after a while, it didn't take long, but I felt at first very daunting, but
But I guess having a good mentor to hop on the phone and say, help.
That's exactly right, as I called him on phone a friend. Yeah. Yes, I just have to say, help, Ross. Yes.
Yeah, I think that is a common theme, that you get your piece of paper and hey, I can go and start earning a living now, and
that's right.
As I often say, it's actually, I had a conversation 2 days ago with another therapist, and he said it's one thing to be a technician, it's another thing to know how to market, know how to manage, know how to finance,
that's right, exactly.
Know the IT stuff.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
You might work 30 hours a week, but you've got another 40 or so in all the other bits and pieces that have to be done.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't put everyone in the same basket. Everyone is different, and everyone responds differently, to the treatment. So you have to be very mindful of, emotions, whether that's mind, body or spirit, just to, apply what you know and go from there.
I was studying with a Chinese doctor in Chinatown in Sydney many years ago, and in the clinic in there, this one particular day, we had 3 people come in that he treated all with inversion ankle sprains, and treated them all differently. And because I don't speak Chinese, I had no idea what he was asking them and what they were saying to him. So at the end of the day, I said to him, Dr. Cam, 3 inversion sprains, all treated differently. Why? And I won't do the Chinese accent, but basically, one was 3 days old, one was 3 weeks old, one was 3 months old. So it was acute, subacute, and chronic. And that was a very, very valuable lesson for me. Okay, so did you have this injury last week, or has it been going on for a month or 2 years? And I often say to students, I would much rather treat an acute injury than a chronic one, because chronic injuries, you've got all that repatterning and all the other stuff that goes with that, as well as you said, the emotional, particularly if you're working with elite athletes who go through
that's exactly right.
Emotional roller coasters.
That's right. And once you have helped this client, what I found sometimes, like, because I do treat a lot of athletes. We have a triathlon team here that go to a lot of triathlons and meets around the country. So they travel, and to be able to help them, be the best that they can be, whether it's cycling or running or swimming, that's a wonderful thing. But they also entrust me with being able to release, their hamstrings or quads or wherever, you know, to get that result. And that's really special for me. Yeah. So it's a wonderful thing.
So what's the population roughly of Mount Isa and surrounds?
It's a very transient town.
Is that because of
I think it's around. Sorry.
Is that because of the mining?
Yeah, we still do have a lot of fly-in, fly-outs,
Right.
but we do have a lot of mining sites around Mount Isa. So they are generally out at camp there. So, but as a population, I think it's around about 20,000.
So how many massage therapists roughly are in the city? Any idea?
There's probably only, I'm just trying to think, probably about 10 of us.
Because I can only find 2 of you when I was researching.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of them advertise. I think it's more word of mouth. Yeah, or Facebook. A lot of people use the Facebook, to get their advertising through. Yeah.
How would you describe your style of massage?
It is very different. Like everybody, like I say, like I cater to everyone who's different, but it's as like they come in with different ailments. But I with the Emmitt, it's a light neuromuscular release system. So, but a lot of people I find that that's all they need. They just need some help with with the triggers, and because even though I love massage, but just catering for all those different needs. And a lot of people like massage with the triggers as well. So it's at times it can be a little bit painful depending on their ailment, but generally it's relaxing once we deal with the issues.
Okay. So you also do Bowen?
No, I have done a course in Bowen.
Right.
But I should rephrase it. I do some Bowen moves, but mainly Emmitt moves.
Okay. So
yeah.
Can you explain? I have, as I said, I did do a little bit of research around Emmitt therapy and Ross and a bit of the history. But can you explain to us how the Emmitt therapy works?
Yeah, so we use 2 fingers. These are our Emmitt fingers.
Right.
So we take other fingers away so they don't interfere. So we have the 2 Emmitt fingers. We use triggers of the body. So they sometimes could be anchor points as well as triggers. So they simultaneously release throughout the body. So it's a very light treatment. So the term "no pain, no gain" is not in the Emmitt vocabulary. So we assess and reassess our clients as we trigger them. We use the rule of 3. So we're assessing as we're going through. We're using a lot of balance points to be able to stabilize, to get the central nervous system basically back to where it needs to be with the body. I did have one client come to me, and she was unfortunately hit on the left side of her cheek by a Down syndrome client of hers. She worked with special needs. She was left with an uncontrollable shake of her head. So with that, I used what we call spinal balance on her, and because with the great force of hitting on the left side of her cheek, it actually basically moved the TMJ. So her jaw was and she was talking through the side of her mouth. She didn't realise that she was doing this, but you could literally see the whole jawline had been pushed to the side. So I did a release on her TMJ and a spinal balance, and left her for a few minutes. And within 10 to 15 minutes, that shaking of her head had actually ceased. And it was incredible to see the power that the Emmitt does have. And at that point, she started crying, I started crying, because you just, it's one of those emotional releases that you get, that, she's been suffering with this ailment for so long, that with the ability, with just these two fingers, were able to release that. And it's something to see. It's mind-blowing. It still blows my mind after all these years, the things that happens. Yeah.
So when you say you assess your clients, are they specific assessments to the Emmitt technique, or are they your standard active, passive, range of motion, orthopedic tests that you're doing?
Yeah, so basically, range of motion, as well as, so we're trained in a way that we assess our clients before even touching them. So even down to a handshake, we can tell if they're having upper or body lower ailments. I know that sounds bizarre, but it does actually. It's wonderful. But anyway, we're looking for things: the way that they hold their head, the way that they hold their shoulders, their whole body structure. Are they walking like a duck? How their feet are splayed out, things like that. So you're doing your whole assessment. Even like I say, with the jaw, the way that they're talking, the way. And you can literally tell if they're squinting their eyes a lot, if they're having sinusitis problems, or if they're having, jaw problems, that sort of thing. You tend to be able to pick it out a lot easier.
Okay. So I have noticed watching these videos back when my head always tilts to the right. So what does that tell you?
Well, it can be a rhomboid problem, or it can be a cervical problem. Even the pectoral. The ACM can be tight for bringing that down. So there's a lot of things there that can be, but we just as therapists, I think we all agree in this, that we have to put the puzzle together,
sometimes you can connect the dots and the puzzle is finished, and other times you just have to go draw
That's
an
it.
idea and refer you on to someone with a.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and we have done that, especially with this COVID-19. It's been very frustrating because having your clients, and especially the ones that are a maintenance client that need ongoing care, it's been a struggle because they've rung up in pain, and literally I can't do anything for them. I've given them pointers over the phone, but obviously we've had to refer on because physios and chiropractors were still operational through COVID-19. So thank goodness for that.
So are you back to working again up there?
I'm actually starting on Monday.
Okay.
So I had a bit of time. Yeah, I did have a bit of time off. So I'm fully booked now for a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to getting back to it.
So are you back to full time, or are you breaking it down a little bit?
Yeah, at this stage the first 5 days it's pretty full. It's just a lot of maintenance catch-ups, with clients, just to try and get them back on track. But yeah, it is a pretty full clinic that I run 6 days a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as well as doing humans, I do horses and dogs as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have other therapists working out of the clinic?
No. I used to have a little shop called Nature's Health Barn up here. But unfortunately we had to close that down, but we had 4 therapists working with us at that stage. And that was a pretty, full clinic that we had, and it was wonderful. But as time went by, therapists left town, and
Finding the right therapists fit.
Exactly. Yeah.
What would you say would be your greatest achievement so far
in the industry? I think the fact of bringing the treatment that I do to Mount Isa and surrounding areas. So I travel as well. So I treat the beautiful folk in Julia Creek once a month. So I treat from a little place down there, and I'll also be starting up in Cloncurry soon. So I'm proud of the fact that I can bring that to northwest Queensland, you know, because we don't have a lot of travelling therapists, and these poor people are left to, you know, they don't have a lot of facilities there. So if I can bring that bit of relief to these people, I feel very proud to do so.
How do you get your continuing education units?
So I continuously train with Emmitt. So I'm still doing. I've completed all of the adult or the human side of the training, and just recently the dogs. Still going with the horses, and my horses love it. They they literally come up and want treatment all the time now. Yeah, so it's nice to be hands-on with animals as well as people, you know, to see that.
It breaks it up too, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. And yeah, and of course you've got to have your guard up with a lot of the horses and dogs and things like that. But I find it very relaxing, very peaceful to treat animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting offshoot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. And because it's a trust with an animal. So especially horses, to me they're very spiritual animals. But they sometimes look at you as if to say, "What are you doing?" But that once they feel that relaxation in the muscle relaxing, they tend to give you that trust. Same with the dog. You know, of course you've got to have your guard about you, because they can just, they're fight or flight animals. So they, you just got to be on guard the whole time. Yeah. So,
I have a colleague who does some work with animals as well, and she says she loves working with animals except Shetland ponies. She refers to them as little Shetlands.
Yeah, that's what we call them, little Shetlands. Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yes. Well, I have big boys. We have thoroughbreds and quarter horses, so they don't like the Shetlands either. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you do to switch off from work? Because sounds like you're working every day, but none.
Yeah. So, fortunately, most days, Sundays is usually my house day.
Still
but
working.
When I do have time off, we like to do. We live out of town a little bit on a bit of acreage, so we like to do things. Like camp. We love camping. My husband loves fishing, and so we're very much like homebodies. But we like camping and campfires and that sort of thing. And like we sat around the campfire last night. I mean, it was chilly. It was very cold. But so that sort of thing we love doing.
Good.
Yeah.
How has the community up there been coping with the lockdown?
I think as a whole, I think we've done pretty well, to be quite honest. I mean, it did get a bit crazy there when people were buying everything off the shelf. But it's sort of like we didn't have any cases of COVID-19 here. I think our closest threat was in Charters Towers, which is about 800 kilometres away. And I think they only had a couple of cases there. But so we were lucky, very lucky, we didn't have anyone. And given that we do have fly in, fly out, we didn't have any cases. So that was very, very lucky. But as a whole, I think the town did really well. Yeah.
So people are slowly back to normal now, or are they still coming out of lockdown?
Yeah, I think everything's starting to get back. Like town's getting a lot busier. Yeah, like kids are back at school now, so I think parents are going, yay. Yeah. So I think, I think life up here is getting back to normal. Yeah.
As it is slowly elsewhere. But I did hear.
Yeah, definitely.
I did hear on.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I think like we didn't really like notice that much difference for us, my family in particular, because we live out of town a little bit. So, you know, we sort of, you know, we only go to town to do grocery shopping or, you know, so it was, you know, we just bulked what we could, like had the meat in the freezer and that sort of thing. So we didn't have to go into town every couple of days. So we just stayed out here and basically hibernated, I suppose. It just, yeah.
So your clinic is in town or at home?
No, it's just out of town a little bit. We're only about 10 minutes from town. So, and people love to come out here because it is so quiet, serene. You hear the birds, you know, chirping away. It's quite nice. You're not having, you know, the noise of, you know, cars and people talking and things like that. So it is quite nice and serene out here.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you see the industry heading? Giving, I'm assuming you would have been keeping up with a lot of the controversial conversations that were going on numerous Facebook group pages. Where do you see the industry going in the next, say, 5 to 10 years? Or where would you like to see it?
Actually, I didn't see that. I didn't see. I don't go on Facebook a lot.
Well, you're not missing
yeah,
anything.
but no. Yeah. So, what were they saying about them?
There was, just a lot of. I found a lot of the conversations quite. Choosing my words carefully here. Pointless, for want of a better word.
Okay.
I saw a post last week. Somebody put up with a cutting from a comment by the state premier down here, and they were saying we can't open. We're not allowed to open. And then it's like, well, hang on a minute. The cutting you've put up is dated the 12th of April. It's 6 weeks ago.
That's right, and that was the height of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just find it interesting that a lot of people were taking all their information off what Bazza on Facebook says, not getting on
that's right.
department sites or the association sites to see what is factual.
That's exactly right. I did find that hard though, Laurie, getting that factual information at times.
Oh, it was.
Very, because you just sort of, and I found that too with a bit of the government sites. It was very ambiguous, like, calling us massage parlours. I don't know. I think it was the miscommunication, a lot of it. Like we needed to have a little bit more, in-depth. Someone, I always said we needed one person to be governing this whole thing as far as the therapists go, because we just didn't know what banner we fell under. So it was sort of, I had clients ringing me saying, well, such and such in Townsville's operating, how come you can't? Those sort of things were happening a lot. Whereas they were remedial therapists, and I had to explain, I'm not a remedial therapist. So it's sort of, it got a bit confusing at times.
And not just for the general public, confusing for all of us in the industry as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And one of the comments I've made to several people over the last 2 months was when Scott Morrison came out the very first time and said, tanning salons, tattoo parlours, massage parlours, nail salons, all closed down. The following day, when that was reported from the government website on the news cycle, it had massage parlours, in brackets, not remedial therapies. So right from
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that was stated right from the get-go, that everybody just reads half a sentence. Well,
That's exactly right.
Half a sentence.
Yeah,
So,
but then they had remedial therapists as well as therapeutic. So
yeah, and that's where the
to me,
yeah.
that's exactly right. Because that really, I thought, well, surely we should fall under the therapeutic banner. But we just couldn't get a straight answer.
And everyone in the country was, I was talking to people in South Australia and Victoria, and and everybody's getting told different things from the same government department. So yes, it was totally confusing. So
That's
for
right.
me, I would like to see us classified as, allied health with one association, one registration. Everyone knows
Definitely.
what we do, because the problem is, as soon as you say the word massage, you get all those other connotations.
Exactly. That's a huge banner. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where I think the frustration for us as an industry was brought forth, and the confusion with the public was just, as you say, it was just mind-boggling. Why is so-and-so?
Yeah.
And I had people ringing me up, how come I can go and see this physio but I can't see you? I'm not a physio.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. No, I'm not.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, I had one dear lady, she's a client, a regular of mine, and she kept saying, I've got pain. Are you going to leave me in pain? I'm going, it broke my heart. But I just had to say, I'm sorry, but yes, you can go and see these people. And they said, no, I want to see you. It's hard. What do you do? There's nothing you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the physio that I refer a lot of people onto was very quiet, so I could get people in to see him. Which he certainly appreciated, because he was quiet. He still is, actually. When I was talking to him yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I was talking to him. Ah, dearie me. Yes, things have to change, but it's going to take a while, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
So, what have you got on for the rest of the day?
Well, my husband and I have been doing a lot of landscaping, so that's been keeping us busy. And I think he's thinking it might be a rest day. Yeah.
Well, it's getting close to lunchtime and a cup of tea time. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, yes. So no, it's been that's, in a way, we've got things done that we haven't been able to do, before. We didn't have the time before. So that's been one godsend, I suppose. So we've got a lot of stuff done.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, Tracy, thank you very much for sitting down and having a chat this morning. Really appreciate
My pleasure, Laurie.
hearing about your clinic and the way you work and what goes on up in the ISA.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Tracy. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Look forward to chatting again, even just on Facebook or something.
Wonderful, Laurie. Look forward to it. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Tracy.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you very much, Tracy. So good to have a chat with you and hear all about the Emmitt therapies and life in far north Queensland. So hope you liked it, guys. If you have any comments, leave them below and I'll get back to you. And please subscribe to the channel and stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you on the other side of COVID-19. Cheers.